A quick turnaround for the Orange after defeating the UConn Huskies at the Carrier Dome on Saturday. SU heads to Louisville to take on Rick Pitino's squad. Right here on this Webisode edition of Orange Press Pass, we'll break it all down and we'll hear from the head coach himself. You're watching Orange Press Pass. And welcome to the Citrus TV studios for this Webisode edition of Orange Press Pass alongside Mark Sell and Dan Gerard. I'm Emily Knox. Syracuse defeats the Cardinals for the first time in 6 years, and this one was a close one.
It's all about Big East basketball, Emily. This one came right down to the wire, literally the last second, and Syracuse with its defense was able to pull it out.
And also the free throw shooting for Louisville, 12 of 21 tonight. Rick Pitino was not happy about it after the game. If a couple of those free throws went in the Cardinals' favor, would have been a completely different result.
Absolutely, and a big storyline going into this game was Rick Pitino's success over Syracuse in the past few years. It's been almost exactly 6 years since the Orange first beat the Cardinals, and since then it's been a 7-game winning streak for the Cardinals.
And when you look back at that 7-game winning streak for the Cards, 3-point shooting, the big difference with guys like Kyle Keurig and Mike Mara stepping up. But today, Keurig only had 3 points.
Yeah, and also the press that defense that Rick Pitino has really played at since he coached at Louisville, also in Kentucky. Rick Pitino, got to remember, Jim Boeheim assisting Coach Boeheim's first year here at Syracuse back in 1976, almost like the student had defeated the master.
Absolutely, but not this time. Syracuse able to figure it out, able to defeat the press and defeats the Cardinals 52-51. Another solid performance by C.J. Fair, 13 points and 5 rebounds. Fab Mello also scoring in double digits for the Orange. Louisville had a couple of good performances as well.
Yeah, look at Shane Boeheim, 7 of 8 from the field, 16 points, and he was a rebound shy of a double-double. He was tremendous tonight, Dan.
Got to harp on C.J. Fair's performance after the double-double he had on Saturday against Connecticut. Bouncing back with another big game, 13 points. Coach Boeheim said after that UConn game, he took the struggles that he had against Georgetown last Wednesday to heart, has come back with 2 huge performances.
All right, well, let's see what head coach Jim Boeheim had to say after the game.
And you have to really drive it and, get in the lane. Scoop did that. I told Scoop he's shooting 50% now the last 2 games. 100% one game and 0% this game. So, but thought Brandon went in. We're fortunate. We've got 3 very high-quality guards. Brandon Trish made the two of the big buckets we had to hit. I thought we showed great perseverance to, get the lead, and they come right back and take the lead back. And I think Brandon made a play. He might have made 2 plays in there that we had to have just to get back. And then we made a couple of defensive plays and got down and grabbed the lead. But I think it's always tough wherever you are, but particularly on the road. This is a tough place to play. When you lose a lead like that and you go down 5, that's difficult at that stage. But when we've been in a bunch of close games this year, and we've made plays when we've had to in those games. I had, I thought that, what I think doesn't really matter because it's what those 5 guys out there think. But, we were going to play Keurig the whole game. He's averaging 30 against us for his career. He's not all Big East against us. He's all American, And so we were going to play him. We forgot him one time, and he made a 3. But we were going to make sure we played him. I figured Steve was going to drive. We wanted what we said in the beginning. We just never could quite do it. It was when he drove or when the big guy got the ball in the middle, we were going to stay back. And, it's a natural reaction for our center. We usually come up on that. And I think finally he Fab stayed back a little bit better.
All right, we bring back in Mark and Dan. You heard Coach Boeheim talking about how in other games making plays, and they made a lot in this one, particularly steals. They had 12 steals, whereas Louisville, they only had 3.
And these are the top 2 teams in the country, 2 of the best when it comes to stealing the basketball. But Syracuse, this is what their offense does. This is how their offense runs. And, when they don't turn the ball over, when they don't get out in transition, they're a completely different team. And look at the last 2 minutes of this game. Chris Joseph came up with the big one with about minute 40 to go, and then Dion Waiter sealed the deal.
Yeah, and also the old cliche of turning defense into offense really came tonight in this one. You talk about that steal that Chris Joseph had on Gorgie Dang. Gorgie Dang left in the high post, And really, there was a lot of clearing space that he could have taken a shot. Rick Pitino said after the game he was not happy that he did not take that shot. He was very jumpy, very antsy, forces an errant pass to Chris Joseph's hands, and ultimately, you talk about 12 steals. They were very active tonight. Really, they've been active the entire season and really needed every one of those steals in this evening.
And it's funny because Pitino also said afterwards, that was a play with Deng that he said they practiced 45 minutes in practice all the time, and Deng just didn't get it done.
Yeah, and another issue where the Cardinals were struggling was three-point shooting, only 5 for 19 tonight.
Yeah, and really 5 of 19. We talked about off the top, Emily and Mark, that really the three-point shooting has been something that has been the reason why they've been able to get these 7 straight wins over the Orange. You look back to the last couple of years, Kyle Couric, unbelievable performances from behind the arc. 4 of 6 in that final game in Freedom Hall. Also 5 of 7 last year when the two teams met down at the KFC Yum Center. Last year also Preston Knowles, 7 of 12 from behind the arc. Out this season with a torn ACL. Tonight, different story. Kyle Couric, Coach Boeheim said he really needed to keep him in check. That was the goal, ultimately executed to a T.
And you talk about guys like Couric, Mara, and Knowles. How about Chris Smith as well? Coming into this game, he was 4th in the Big East Conference in three-point field goal percentage with 46%, and tonight he only hit 3 of 7. Louisville has had a lot of success against the Syracuse zone in the past, but tonight is just a night for both teams, really, where the shots just weren't falling down.
Expand that zone, and that's how you got to succeed.
Well, now we're going to send it out to the KFC Yum Center in Louisville to Kevin Barry and Bill Spaulding.
Kevin Barry with WAER's Bill Spaulding. And Bill, at the end of this one, it looked more like it was a game that Syracuse just found a way not to lose.
Yeah, that's been the story of the season for Syracuse this year. Even in games where they haven't played very well, this game they played really poorly on offense, they still have enough to win. Today it was the defense that willed them to a win. They didn't allow a point in the last 3 minutes and 38 seconds. And when I talked to players after the game, they said it was the huddle with about 4 minutes left to play and a timeout on the floor when they decided, hey, this is a game we're not going to lose. They gut-checked, and they found a way to get that win.
And at the end of the game, it was your senior leaders who were on the bench. Instead, it was the sophomores who were on the floor when it mattered the most.
Well, I mean, Syracuse has some great sophomores on this team with Dion Waiters, CJ Farrer, and Fab Mello, and it really just showed the depth of the team because if you look to the last 2 games, against Georgetown, Chris Joseph, a senior, had 29 points. Against UConn, Scoop Jardine, a senior, had 21. Well, today Scoop scored no points, and Chris Joseph was in foul trouble for most of the second half, but Syracuse's sophomores willed them to a win, and they just have that type of depth where they can have players having an off day and still slide somebody else in.
It's a tough home stretch to end the season and start the Big East tournament. So what do you think about Syracuse's chances to win out?
Well, I mean, Syracuse just got through what was supposed to be the toughest stretch of its season, 3-0. So you got to feel pretty good if you're a Syracuse fan moving forward. The players feel good about it. Coach Boeheim said after the game he's going to be optimistic and just call this one a defensive struggle. He's not going to focus on the bad offense. So I think Syracuse still has a couple tough games left. They have to play this Louisville team again. They have to go to UConn. But overall, you got to feel pretty good about Syracuse closing out the regular season.
Alongside WAER's Bill Spaulding from the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, we'll send it back to you guys in studio.
All right, thanks, Kevin. You heard what they had to take away from the game, so what are your final thoughts?
Well, when I take a look at this, the Syracuse defensive performance is big as well, but look at the performance on how they shut down Peyton Siva. Siva had 8 points in the first 10 minutes of the game, and then after that, he got into some foul trouble. 3 fouls, had to sit out a lot of time in the first half. After that, he scored no points. And that was a big difference in this game because coming into this game, you knew Syracuse was going to key in on Siva. He's a feisty guard. He loves to penetrate. And Rick Pitino said after the game, they couldn't get the dribble penetration going, especially when he was out of the game. So that was big by Syracuse to take a very big star on Louisville and shut him down.
My final thought is they finally slayed the Dragon.
Finally.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. For the first time in 7 games, Syracuse finally defeats Louisville. And really, look, it doesn't matter how it occurred. It was an ugly game, sure. Syracuse did not shoot the ball all that well. 1 of 15 from behind the arc, especially after they hit 10 threes on Saturday against UConn. It doesn't matter. You'll take the win any which way you can, especially on the road, especially in a hostile environment when they had the whiteout down at Louisville. Rick Pitino is all white suit. We could all joke about that. But still, a huge win that they needed to get. They're 26-1 now, really in prime position to win out going into the Big East tournament. 30-1 going into the NCAA Big East tournament, rather. That's quite a start. I think most Syracuse fans did not see that at this point in the season.
And by the way, I'm personally loving the white suit.
I love it too.
That'll grow sharp.
I love it too.
It certainly, does catch one's eye.
Does it do it for you there, Emily?
I don't know. But anyway, that's Marcel, Dan Gerard. I'm Emily Knox. This has been a Webisode of Orange Press Pass. Next time you can catch us on us on the Orange Television Network and streaming live at citrustv.net following Syracuse's game against Rutgers on Sunday at 4:30. Thanks for joining us.